Hello and welcome to the course. We are in week 1. I am your academic, Bhuvan Nunhelkar, and this hat I was just wearing out of fun. It's a Akubra hat, which is an Australian bush hat, which I had to wear for some other function this morning. So in week 1 I have given you the chapter to read, which is all my material which I have updated for you, and you will have seen in that chapter I have started with what is the purpose of UML or any modeling for that matter. So the first thing we do is visualization. We create pictures about the various programs, the various pieces of software that we are trying to design. Then we have, of course, the specifications, the details, the parameters around a visualization or a visual model. We of course have documentation, and then we also deal with construction, which is in fact moving towards execution. So a UML model is not sufficient on its own unless it is able to also produce a piece of software. So although in this course I am not specifically dealing with the programming language, but we still do try and correlate our models with how they will look when they become a piece of code. So those are the four purposes of UML that I have described. I have then taken you through some project types: brand new development, integration projects where we bring many systems together and we can use UML constructs for integration, implementing packages like a SAP package or a PeopleSoft package or any other package which has been designed and developed elsewhere. We can use modeling for outsourced project where it is important to communicate beyond words. We can look at databases and data warehousing, and increasingly as we are moving towards big data, modeling constructs to represent what we are trying to explain. And then of course educational, like the way in which we are trying to communicate. I have also highlighted different sizes of projects. You will find that the way you use UML differs, changes depending on whether it's a small or a medium or a large project. So you need to keep these nuances of UML in mind as you use it. Now, if you read my demystifying the UML and demystifying the UML2, you will see I had listed about 13 diagrams. The current version of UML 2.5 is actually made up of 14 official diagrams, and I do encourage you to download the official UML standard from OMG, Object Management Group. It's freely available. It's too complex, it runs into hundreds of pages, but you will probably enjoy the Annex A or Annex B that has a list of UML diagrams. I have also given you a link or two around these list of diagrams and how they look, and then I have of course shown you my view of the diagrams, and also later I will explain which diagrams are important for which particular purpose we are trying to use UML, and of course the size of the project. So just to take you through the list of diagrams, and be aware I'm not expecting you to know these diagrams at this early stage of this course, but you just need to be aware of these diagrams and also their nature, whether they are static and structural or behavioral or dynamic. And I have done a bit of a mapping. Again, it's not a rock solid watertight mapping. It is there to make us be aware of how these diagrams will be used in practice. So to simply take you through the diagrams, there is the use case diagram, which is perhaps one of the most popular diagrams of UML, where you've got actors and use cases shown pictorially. You then have each use case being shown as a flowchart. So an activity diagram is like a flowchart, and you can see in the course notes that it's really a flowchart, a bit more sophisticated, but I'll explain that when we discuss activity diagrams. You got the class diagram, which is showing classes and its relationships, and a class diagram is a very fundamental diagram, and you can see the classes in the course notes. I've shown a patient and a doctor and a physician and surgeon inheriting from the doctor class. A sequence diagram, as its name suggests, shows a sequence of messages. So it is actually a dynamic diagram that shows behavior, and it is also quite a popular diagram where the objects on the right are representing the classes from the class diagram. We have an interaction overview diagram where the rectangular boxes are actually representing anything. It could be a use case, a collection of use cases, a collection of other diagrams, and so on. So it's an overview diagram. We have the communication diagram, which was also called collaboration diagram, which is another view of the sequence diagram. An object diagram is an instance level diagram. So it is showing the structure of the objects and how they are linked, but in the memory. So it's a diagram that shows what's happening in the memory. There is another such diagram, which is a composite structure, which I will explain or I will read out soon. There is a state machine diagram, which shows the various states of one object belonging to a class. Here is the composite structure diagram, which shows the overall structure of the many objects and any other instance level elements at runtime. The component diagram is a static structural diagram. So each component can be viewed as a collection of classes or a collection or a group of classes. Deployment diagram is the only hardware diagram in UML, and it shows the, if you like, architecture of the system when the system will be deployed. So it has got nodes and connections. Package diagram is overall organizational diagram, hence I called it static structural diagram. Timing diagram is an engineering diagram. It can be helpful if you have to compare the states of various objects. If you look at the state diagram, it is comparison of no comparison, sorry, it's various states of the same object. But if you want to compare the state of doctor object versus the operating theater object, then it's the timing diagram that comes into play. And then there is a profile diagram, which is not used that much, but it really enables us to encapsulate a profile or a meta class, as it is called. So those are the list of 14 diagrams. We are going to go into quite a few of them slowly and carefully, and we will practice them in star UML so you get a good grip on these diagrams, and then of course you use these techniques that you are learning in order to create excellence in program design. So I hope you will continue to participate and enjoy this journey with me together. I am doing this recording in my office here at USF. I hope you find it valuable. Take care till we meet again in next week. Bye bye.